कुंज बिहारी जयो राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन भज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीर वनचारी यमुना तीर वनचारी जयो राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जयो राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय श्री श्री राधा माधव की श्रील प्रभुपाद की ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकय चाक्षु उन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामी इति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा। So Lord Shri Krishna, about 5,000 years before, he came down to the earth planet. When the Lord comes down, he is called avatar, incarnation. Avatar means one who comes down. avatar. Now if one of us climb first or second floor and come down, we don't become avatar. When Krishna comes down by his sweet will, down from spiritual world to material world, he is called avatar. How many such avatars are there? Have you heard? Millions. Yes, infinite, unlimited, uncountable, we can't even count. Not just Dasha avatar, not just 10. 10 are popular because they have very good PR department. But there are uncountable avatars. And he comes for a mission. What is his mission? Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya dushkrita. To protect his devotees, to protect good citizens, and to punish demons, bad citizens. That is his mission. So 5,000 years before, where did Krishna arrive? In Mathura, in India, Mathura in Uttar Pradesh. Where in Mathura? In jail, in prison of Kans, Sri Krishna Janma Bhumi. That's Krishna's birth site. You must have heard news that in January, in India, in Ayodhya, they inaugurated a very big temple of Lord Ramchandra at Sri Ram Janma Bhumi. So at that time, the government of India, they ran special trains from all over the country towards Ayodhya Dham. And they made a law. The law is like this: if you are on that train with ticket, you go to Ram Janma Bhumi. If you are on that train without ticket, you go to Krishna Janma Bhumi. Where? Prison, jail. Nobody wants to go to jail. But Krishna appeared in jail for us. And immediately he was transferred from Mathura to Vrindavan. He had to leave his parents and stay in foster parents' house with Yashoda Maiya and Nand Maharaj. Now, of course, Krishna protected everybody, all his devotees. And there's a very interesting pastime in which he protected his own father. So that we will discuss today. Is that okay? So in Vrindavan, Krishna's father is Nand Maharaj. Krishna would call him Baba. Baba means father, daddy, Nand Baba. So once on Ekadashi, Nanda Maharaj, of course, he observed Ekadashi. Ekadashi is a very auspicious day for Vaishnavas. And all devotees observe Ekadashi by restricting themselves from eating grains, beans, pulses, and chanting more Hare Krishna Mahamantra, reading and hearing more Bhagavatam, visiting temple, attending Aarti, and doing more devotional service. So Ekadashi day helps us to grow more in our devotional service, in our spiritual life. We get more blessings of Rukmini Dwarkadish. Just like we come here on Sunday, we come here every day, and we come here on Ekadashi, we get more blessings. Just like sometimes the local store has discount. Do you have discounts here on the products? So if there is a local store which says, discount period tomorrow, 100%, 50%, 70%, which means for $10 what you get one item, tomorrow for $10 same item you get two quantity. That is discount. So we like to go. So in the same way, Rukmini Dwarkadish, they bless us every day. On Ekadashi there is discount. Little bhakti, you get more blessings. So shouldn't we come on discount day to the temple? So not just Sunday, of course many devotees come every day, but we should also come on Ekadashi. Come and do some service, pay obeisances to Krishna, dance for Krishna, offer some service to Krishna, give him a flower, and then we get more blessings. Ekadashi day is a discount day. The shop, why do they have discount days? To attract new customers and to reward existing customers. So the Lord is also like that, to attract more devotees and to bless existing devotees. He has Ekadashi day, special day. So Nanda Maharaj, he observed Ekadashi. Then he noticed that next day morning, Dwadashi, the Paran time, the time to break fast is quite early. Have you seen that? Sometimes the fast breaking time is quite early in the morning, right? So he thought, I will wake up at midnight, take bath in the river, do my morning program and break my fast at suitable time. So he woke up at midnight. And at midnight with his friends and servants, he went to the river Yamuna, which flows in Vrindavan Dham, to take bath. At the same location where every day he would take bath. Private location, king's location, ghat is called. Ghat means bathing location. So Nanda Maharaj went to the bathing location. He entered the waters. His associates and servants waited for him on the bank. At midnight he was taking bath. As he was taking bath, suddenly some soldiers came below water. Some soldiers. They arrested the king Nanda Maharaj and took him inside water. Who were these soldiers? These were soldiers of Varun Dev. Who is Varun Dev? He is a powerful demigod in charge of water bodies. Demigods are devatas, those powerful devotees who help Krishna in universal management, in universal administration. So Varun Dev is one of the demigod who is in charge of water bodies. And his soldiers arrested Nanda Maharaj and took him down. Why did they arrest him? Because according to the soldiers of Varun Dev, Nanda Maharaj violated one law. The law says that one should not take bath at midnight in a river. Why? Because at midnight the aquatics are sleeping in the river. If one takes bath in midnight, the aquatic sleep is disturbed. That is river law. Our society law says at least take bath. Sometimes people are not used to. So in Vedic culture, the laws are made so that one living entity does not disturb other living entity. We should coexist. Not just humans and humans, but humans and animals also should coexist. I should not talk, act, behave in such a way that I disturb others. In our family, in our community, we should not act in such a way that I hurt others, or I disturb others' duties, or I disturb others' peace, or I give pain to others. That is not good. We should be sensitive to each other. We should act, behave and talk in a way that everybody is peaceful. in our relationships, in our family, in our community, in our devotee community, we should make sure that peace is never cut into pieces. Peace should be maintained. If there is peace in the heart, then there will be prosperity and growth. If the heart is not peaceful, then there will be no prosperity, growth, and there will be difficult to manage relationships. So I should not behave, talk, or act in a way that somebody else's heart is not peaceful. So my peace is important and everybody's peace is important. So the soldiers of Varun Dev, they arrested Nanda Maharaj because according to them, he violated the law of taking bath at midnight in a river. And they took him down. And Nanda Maharaj was surprised to see such a big marble palace inside the river. And big pillars. All the pillars are decorated with jewels and pearls and diamonds and rubies and sapphires and emeralds and crystals. And so nice maid servants and man servants wearing silken sarees, silken dress, and the servants wearing gold jewelry and diamond rings and pearl necklace, very opulent. And they brought him in front of Varun Raja, Varun Dev, who was sitting on a golden throne, whose height was as double tall than Nanda Maharaj, twice the height of Nanda Maharaj. He was very beautiful, very handsome, very strong, so much effulgence on a golden throne, wearing a golden crown, and there was a white canopy, and that canopy was decorated with pearls, and servants were fanning him, and the servants were wearing silken robes and jewelry, and Varun Dev was wearing silk dhoti and flower garland and diamond rings and very opulent. Nanda Maharaj was shocked to see such an opulent palace right inside the water. But meanwhile, on the bank of the river, the friends and servants of Nanda Maharaj, they got panicked because Nanda Maharaj, their king, went to take bath and disappeared in the water, not visible. They got panicked. And what did they do in panic? They called for Krishna. They called, Krishna, Krishna, your father is not visible. Where did he go? Why did they call for Krishna? Because they love Krishna. This is nature of a devotee. When a devotee is in danger, what should we do in danger? Call Krishna. When we are in trouble, call Krishna. When we are in problem, call Krishna. And when there is no problem, watch television. No, call Krishna. Like a child, when he is crying, he calls mother. When he is joyful, he calls mother. In both the cases. If we call Krishna, then there will be no problem. Problem will never come. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is author of Chaitanya Chaitamrita. He writes that when one chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, then difficult thing become easy. And when one doesn't chant, then easy thing become difficult. So sometime life we have difficulties, just chant Hare Krishna, difficult things will become easy. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Chant every day, our life becomes easy. So the associates called Krishna. And where is Krishna? He is far away in the palace, sleeping in his bedroom. Because Krishna doesn't have to wake up midnight for Dwadashi. He is the enjoyer. But he heard. Even if Krishna is far or near, there is no far or near. Krishna is always in our heart as Paramatma, and he hears. If there is an ant crawling on the street chanting Hare Krishna, Rukmini Dwarkadish is hearing. If we are offering prayers verbally, He is hearing. If you are crying in your heart, cannot speak, He is hearing. Krishna always listens to the prayers of His devotees. Not only He listens to the prayers, He fulfills our desires beyond our imagination. He is such a nice Father, Supreme Father. So we should always depend on Krishna. He will fulfill our desires. Just like once, there was a very naughty boy. His mother told him, look, tomorrow we are going to my sister's house. There you don't do any mischief. There you be silent. The boy said, okay. Because mother knows, if the boy does mischief in my sister's house, next day her name will be spoiled. It will come in the sister's WhatsApp group. So the mother and son went, and both the sisters are talking, and the boy is sitting quietly on the sofa. 1-2 hour talk. Then the aunt, Mausi, the sister thought, this boy must be hungry. She brought a box full of chocolates. Now this naughty boy, chocolates are favorite. Every day he'll force his mother for purchasing chocolates. And now there's a box full of chocolates. The aunt said, eat some chocolate. He said, no, I don't want. He said, you must be hungry, eat some. He said, no, I don't want. She said, children like chocolate, eat few. He said, no, I don't want. He said, I am giving you with love, eat one. She said, no, I don't want. She told 10 times, eat chocolate, eat chocolate, eat chocolate. He said, no. What to do? The aunt left it. Both the sisters continue talking. You know, when two sisters meet, the agenda are so many. They have to catch up whole year agenda. So after 3-4 hours, somehow they ended the meeting. Do you know how sisters end the meeting? When one sister tells another sister, okay, rest of the talk we will do on phone. That's fine. So when they ended the meeting, mother and son are going, the aunt felt bad. 4 hours this boy didn't eat anything. So the aunt took handful of chocolates with her own hand and put it in the pocket of the boy, said, go eat on the way. On the way, mother and son are walking on the street. This boy takes one chocolate, unwrap, puts in the mouth. Before chewing, the second one is out, inside the mouth. Before that, the third one. Very rapidly, fast, one chocolate he puts in the mouth. So the mother says, you naughty boy, what kind of behavior is this? My sister told you 20 times, eat chocolate, eat chocolate, eat chocolate. You said, no. Now you are eating so rapidly, fast. What kind of behavior is this? The boy smiled. He said, mother, my hand is small. Got it? My hand is small. If I had taken with my hand, very few would come. Because I didn't take with my hand, my aunt gave with her hand. Look, so many came. Clever boy? In the same way, my dear devotees, this world is a box of chocolates, and we all want some chocolates. If we extend our hand and grab, very few would come. But if we fold our hands to Rukmini Dwarkadesh, and Krishna will extend his hand and grab and put it in our pocket, lots will come, because his hand is big. So these two hands are given to us not just for hard work, but come and fold in front of Krishna, bow down, touch your head on the floor, offer obeisances, then Krishna will fulfill our desire beyond our imagination. And don't we have that experience already? Whatever we have today, who has given? Krishna. Did we come out of the womb of our mother with a list, what all I want? If we had been given a pen and paper in the childhood, do you think we would have got so many varieties? No, Krishna gave us. And the classic example of this is in Srimad Bhagavatam about Kardam Muni. Have you heard Kardam Muni? He married Devahuti Mata. And they had son Kapil Muni, who gave Sankhya philosophy, who is avatar of Krishna. So Kardam Muni is a brahmachari staying under a tree in the forest, and he has no house, no bank balance, no job, no cloth, no food, no utensils, no toothbrush, not even a mobile. And he is doing tapasya, he is very skinny. And Lord Vishnu comes on Garuda. When Lord Vishnu sees Kardam Muni so much fasting, doing tapasya, skinny, my devotee so weak, Lord Vishnu has tears in the eyes, that tears form Bindu Sarovar. Even today that is there in India, Gujarat. So Kardam Muni offers obeisances to Lord Vishnu and offers prayers, and at the end he said, my dear Lord, I want a suitable wife to marry. And Vishnu said, after 2 days, Manu Maharaj, the emperor of the planet, will come on a golden chariot with his beautiful daughter, Princess Devahuti. You marry her, she will be a good wife. And after 2 days, Manu Maharaj came on a golden chariot and offered his daughter. And Kardam Muni married Devahuti and they had Kapil Muni. Kardam Muni married a princess. And Devahuti is not an ordinary girl, she is extremely beautiful. When Devahuti is 12 years of age, with her girlfriends, she was playing with a ball on the terrace of her skyscraper palace. And one Gandharva was passing by in the plain. Who is Gandharva? He sings very nicely and plays musical instruments in the heavenly planets where Apsaras, celestial beauties, are dancing. So Gandharva sees every day beautiful Apsaras dancing. That Gandharva sees beautiful Devahuti playing with a ball. And she is so beautiful that Gandharva faints on the floor of his plane. One who sees Apsaras every day dancing, if he faints on seeing Devahuti, how beautiful Devahuti must be, right? And Kardam Muni got to marry such a beautiful princess. Why? Because he depended on Krishna. Will any father give his daughter to a boy who is staying under a tree without house, without clothes, without utensils, without food, without job, without bank balance? Any father will do? Then how come Manu Maharaj did? He is the emperor of the planet because he was inspired by Krishna. So Kardam Muni's desire got fulfilled beyond his imagination. Imagine if Kardam Muni had uploaded his biodata on a matrimonial website, do you think he would have got married to Devahuti? Will it ever happen Devahuti open a laptop and show the profile to his father, Manu Maharaj? He said, Father, this profile is nice, money not applicable, house not applicable, cloth not applicable, food not applicable. I will marry this profile, this candidate. No. But he prayed to Vishnu and his desire got fulfilled beyond his imagination. So we learn to depend on Krishna. That's why Srila Prabhupada started this society and this ISKCON Rukmini Dwarka, this temple, New Dwarka temple. Why? So that we come here and in association of devotees learn to develop our dependence on Krishna. In association of devotees, we practice the process of bhakti. What is the process of bhakti? To come to the temple, to pay obeisances to Prabhupada, to Tulsi Maharani, to devotees, to deities, and to chant and dance like we did kirtan and chanting and dancing in Aarti, to sit and hear and to chant japa on beads, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, and to honor prasadam and to do service. There is cleaning service, there is distribution of prasadam service, and if you are earning member, of the society, then offer some part of your earning to Krishna. In that way, our life is purified. We develop dependence on Krishna. We develop love for Krishna. We increase our faith on Krishna. And that way, our life is perfect. And this all is easily possible. Just come to the temple and participate. Is it difficult to stand in Aarti and clap? No. Is it difficult to chant? No. Is it difficult to sit in a class? No. Is it difficult to have prasadam? No. Such an easy process. Just sit and participate and we grow in our bhakti. So when the friends and servants of Nanda Maharaj on the bank of river Yamuna called for Krishna, he immediately came. And when he heard Nanda Maharaj went to take bath and he disappeared, he immediately jumped in the water, straight went down. Meanwhile, what happened down? The soldiers of Varun Dev, they presented Nanda Maharaj to Varun Dev. And they told Varun Dev, this human violated the law. He took bath in the midnight. What is Varun Dev supposed to do in such cases? It's a routine matter. He would punish or fine or warn. So Varun Dev paid attention to the case. He saw Nanda Maharaj and he identified. ये तो मेरे बाप का भी बाप है. This is father of Supreme Father Krishna. Varun Dev panicked. My soldiers have arrested Krishna's father. Krishna will get angry. Immediately Varun Dev got down from his golden throne, untied the rope of Nanda Maharaj, offered him a seat, put a red carpet, went at the door of the palace and stood folded hands because he know Krishna will come. Before he speaks anything angrily, I should pay obeisances and beg forgiveness. Varun Dev is intelligent. To say sorry before somebody gets angry, that is good. If I do a mistake, somebody does a mistake and he says sorry, begs forgiveness, that person is called honest person. If I am not sure whether I have done a mistake or not sure, still I beg forgiveness, that person is called wise person. You got it? If somebody does a mistake and beg forgiveness, he is called honest. If you are not sure whether the mistake has done or not from your side and you beg forgiveness, you are called wise. If you are 100% sure you have not committed a mistake and you still beg forgiveness, you are called husband. You are called humble. Humility, to bow down. Well, a husband or a wife, why they will say sorry even if they don't commit a mistake? Because the question is not who is right, who is wrong. The main agenda is the relationship should be peacefully continuing. So to say sorry if I have hurt somebody is good. To beg forgiveness if I hurt somebody is good. So Varun Dev was waiting for Krishna to come and Krishna came. Varun Dev paid full Dandvat Pranam. Because Varun Dev knows Krishna is a Supreme Personality of Godhead. All the Brahma, Shiva and other demigods, Indra, Chandra, Varun, Vayu, Agni, they all know Krishna is a Supreme Personality of Godhead. All the Vedic scholars like Narad Muni and Vyasdev and Shukdev Goswami and great devotees like Prahlad Maharaj, Manu Maharaj, they know Krishna is a Supreme Personality of Godhead. And all the great acharyas like Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, Nimbarka Swami, Vishnu Swami, Nimbarka Acharya, Vishnu Swami, and our founder Acharya, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada, they know Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And we should learn this. So Varun Dev was ready. He immediately paid obeisances. He said, my dear Krishna, today my life is successful because I am seeing you face to face. That's true. Our life is successful not just by wealth or property or family or car, but our life is successful when we see Krishna face to face. Our life is successful when we become a devotee of Krishna. So Varundev said, my dear Lord, I did a mistake of arresting your father. Actually, who did the mistake? Varundev's soldiers. But he took it on himself. That is an ideal leader. A leader is in mode of goodness. If some success happens, he gives credit to his team that they did it. And if some mistake happens, he takes responsibility. That is my mistake. Not like nowadays corporate managers. If some success happens, they take credit. And if some mistake happens, they say, I told them not to do, they don't listen to me. So Varundev said, please forgive me. My dear Lord, please forgive me or punish me as you wish. But I am like your son, you are like father, please forgive me and please take your father. Krishna didn't speak anything to Varundev, being upset, and he took his father back on the shore, on the bank. And by the time all the Brajvasis had assembled, because this was a breaking news, the emperor of the king of the land went to take bath and somebody arrested him and he disappeared. That is a breaking news. So all the coward boys and Radharani and Gopis and Yashoda Maya and all the coward men and I don't know, CNN, BBC, all were there to cover the news. And they all were very happy to see Nanda Maharaj. And they said, Nanda Maharaj, what happened? Tell us. Nanda Maharaj said, I got 3 shocks of my life today. He said, tell us what happened. He said, first shock, I was arrested in my own kingdom. That is a shock. Nanda Maharaj, according to the soldiers, Nanda Maharaj violated a law. But actually he didn't violate it. While it is true that one should not take bath in the river at midnight, but in Bhakti Shastra there is exception to this law when there is early Dwadashi. In early Dwadashi one can take bath, it doesn't violate the law. But the soldiers of Varundev, they were not alert to the exception, so they arrested. First shock. Second shock I got, inside the water I saw such a big opulent palace with pearls and jewels decorating the pillar. And the servants wearing jewelry and silken clothes and gold jewelry and pearls and diamonds, and such a tall Varun Dev, so powerful, so handsome, sitting on a golden throne, wearing a golden crown with a canopy decorated with pearls. That is second shock. So opulent person I saw. Third shock, he arrested me, but he didn't punish me. If you don't want to punish, why did you arrest? If you arrested, why didn't you punish? He respected me, made me sit in a nice throne. That is third shock. Then he said, actually I got fourth shock. He said, what is the fourth shock you got? He said, I thought this Varun Dev must be a very intelligent person because he is on such a high position, but he is not very intelligent. Brajvasi said, why? He said, he paid obeisances to our Krishna. Our Krishna is such a small boy, he is so tall, he paid him obeisances. Because Nanda Maharaj never saw Krishna as God, he saw him as my son. But Varun Dev knows he is Supreme Personality of Godhead. So in Vrindavan, they love Krishna as their son, as their village boy. They don't see him as God. And that bhakti in Vrindavan is very, very pleasing to the Lord. Just like a commander in the army. When he goes to the army location, there are 30,000 soldiers saluting him, ready to give up their life or ready to kill somebody on his one order. But same commander, when he comes home, his wife tells him, why did you come late? You told you will come at this time. His mother will tell him, come sit, eat food now, first wash your hands. And his son will come on his shoulder and say, let's ride you as a donkey. Where he will be more happy? Where 30,000 soldiers are saluting him? Or where at home, where there is intimate loving dealing? He is more happy at home. So of course Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead, but he is very, very pleasing with devotees in Vrindavan. So that same love of Vrindavan, that same bhakti of Vrindavan, Krishna wants us to have. So he came down as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and he gifted that love to us in how, in what package? In the package of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So every day we chant and hear. The holy name comes out of my mouth and goes inside the ear. From ear, the holy name goes into the heart. The soul is in the region of the heart. The soul comes in contact with the holy name and the soul gets awakened to its love that I am servant of Krishna. This is self-realization, Atma Sakshatkar, very easily possible just by everyday chanting minimum 16 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So my dear devotees, especially those who are new, please add Krishna to your life. How to add Krishna to your life? Chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra every day. If you are new, take a bead. See, these are beads. Sorry. These are beads. 108 beads are there. Take beads from the devotees and every day 108 times you chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Chant and hear. That takes 7.5 minutes. And that is how we take one step towards Krishna. Krishna may be far according to us, but we don't have to run far. We take one step towards Krishna, Krishna takes 1,000 steps towards us. So that one step, we have already taken one step by coming to temple. Every Sunday this program happens, so please come every Sunday. And please take beads and chant, take a Bhagavad Gita and read, whole family will read, and that is how we start our service to Krishna. We are part and parcel of Krishna. Krishna loves us and we are supposed to love Krishna. And by chanting Hare Krishna, that love for Krishna is received in the heart. So we add Krishna to our life and that makes our life perfect. Okay? We end here. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shri Shri Rukmini Dwarkadish ji ki jai. Hare Krishna. If there are any comments or any questions, you may please ask. So if you have a question, you can raise hands, they will give you the mic. Okay, thank you. Hare Krishna.